Hello, my crafty friend, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's gifts to make video. So I just made the cutest but very unpractical little tassels in a craft with me video that I'm going to delete and make this variation instead. So here's kind of what happens when we craft spontaneously and we get ideas and we try them and they don't always work out. We have to re-strategize and figure out how to do them again. So what I've come up with for our craft today is a way to use those single clip-on earrings that you can sometimes find for really cheap at the thrift stores. I've amassed quite a nice collection of them, as you can see here, to use them as the holder for our tassels. You know how nice it looks to have a tassel decorating the cover of a junk journal? Well, I thought, how cool would it look if the tassel was clipped on with a beautiful clip-on earring instead of just a binder clip. And while these turned out to look really, really pretty, when I went to actually clip them onto something, so I'll take, for example, this ephemera piece. Uh-oh, what happened to the tassel? The tassel disappears because I've attached them to the backs of the earrings instead of the front. So I'm going to make a couple of tassels with you that look just like these, only in a better way that I've come up with now. So basically, our tassel has to hang from the front of the clip-on earring, not through the clip part. And you might be thinking, well, duh, but I'm sorry. It didn't come that easily to me when I was trying to visualize it in my mind. But anyway, so I found this clip-on earring here, very 1980s, very fun. Would totally keep it for myself, except that there's only one. And what can you really do with one earring? Well, you can make journal bling, that's what. So I'm taking the yarn that I would like to use as the body of the tassel, and I'm just trimming even lengths around 12 inches. I'm not measuring, you don't need to be too specific, but if you make them about 12 inches long, you'll have a 6-inch tassel. And I like to do journal covers that are about sometimes around 8 inches high. And so having the tassel at this length will be exactly ideal to fill in the space on the front of the journal without being so long that it overwhelms it. Let's see. This is one of my favorites. By the way, I've bought all of my yarns at thrift shops. So if you've gone to a place like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and you've looked at their pretty fibres and thought, you know, to have enough variety to make a really cool tassel, you'd have to spend upwards of $50, which to me is just kind of ridiculous for something that goes into what we're calling a junk journal. So what I've found is that the craft section in thrift stores often has a really cool variety of yarns. And a lot of the times they'll come in multi-packs, especially if the balls have already been open and the yarn has already been used and you're only getting a partial amount. You can get them for very, very cheap, literally pennies. Like I bought one roll once of this stuff, which is among my favorite, for 25 cents Canadian. So, I mean, you really can't beat that. That's like the tax you'd be paying on it if you were buying these at Michael's. But anyway, there we go. So I think that's enough colors to fill this one up. Now, to attach it to the earring, I'm just going to cut one more strand, but just a couple of inches longer than the others. And now is the magic. Here's where we turn a pile of fiber into an actual tassel. So you'll want to roughly find the center of your string by folding it in half here and roughly find the center of your tassel by balance. I like to just balance it on my fingers and then kind of lay it on my other hand. So you want the edges to be around the same length on each side. And they don't need to be too perfect. You can always go in with your scissors and trim them afterwards, but I like to try to make it as close to perfect as possible so that there's not too much lost in the end trimming. You can also lift it up and measure this way. So there we go, that's about the halfway point. And now I'm just going to really simply tie it twice before I attach it to the earring. Put a little dab of glue where I've tied that knot. The glue is optional, but I do feel like it's more secure when there's a little dab of glue. And now, see where the earring clip lines up? That's our bottom hole, and that's the hole we want to tie our tassel to. So I'm just gonna thread that through and then tie it 2 more times so that it's super secure. There we go. Doesn't that look lovely already? And we haven't even formed our pom-pom. And for forming, I don't know what it's properly called, the top of the tassel, I just call it a pom-pom. What I like to do is, before I tie a string around, I like to kind of position it with my fingers and see how big I want the pom-pom to be. So for one like this, I'd like the pom-pom to be roughly comparable in size to the diameter of this clip-on earring. So I'm thinking right here, about 1 inch down is the place to tie it. But we can also test and see how it would look with a bigger ball or a smaller ball. Anyway, a lot of it is, I think, up to personal taste, but I'm going about 1 inch down and then just very simply tying a little piece that I cut to a smaller size. I like to do a knot on one side and then flip it over, do a knot on the other side, and then flip it over and glue it at the back. And that way your strands are very snugly held in place. So for this, I'm just going to put a dot of glue again over the knot that we tied last time, and then just fold the loose ends of this fiber here, like so and like so. And I'm using the little poofy pieces within the string to hold down into the glue like that. And there you have it, a beautiful boho tassel. Only really required 3 things, 2 different types of yarn and 1 clip-on earring. You could make this project easily for under $3 Canadian. You just have to hit your local thrift store. I'm assuming you've already got glue because you're watching a crafty channel. But like I said, the glue is optional. And then you have some other optional bits at the end. So I found some remnants of sari scrap from previous projects I've worked on. And sometimes what I like to do is cover the string that makes the ball at the top of the tassel with a collage of other beautiful fabric pieces, like embroidered pieces off of saris work beautifully for it. The beaded pieces that you find on old prom dresses and old bridesmaid dresses, those are a source of great crafty wealth if you can find them in a thrift store. They might not look fashionable to wear anymore, but you can cut the pieces off of them to really enhance your crafting. Now, I don't really like how that one's looking, so let's see this flower here. So let me know, are you doing any special Christmas crafting this year? Are you making any gifts for anyone? Oh yeah, now see that's the rich royal look I was going for with this flower here. I don't necessarily think the tassel needs it, but I do think that kind of makes it look even more luxe, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is just put a line of glue along the top petals here. Not too close to the edge because you don't want your glue squeezing out the top and creating visible crusty bits. You want it to be fairly well hidden. But yeah, I'm just gonna line up the center of this flower with the faux pearl at the center of this old earring, and then just kind of press it and squeeze it and try to get the edges evenly lined up on either side of the tassel, like so. Very elegant. So let's try this one out. I have a book right here that my dear friend Kat gave me. Kat Stone, the talented artist who painted all the paper dolls that I have been adding into my journals. She made this one and asked me to make a tassel for it. And so let's see how this tassel looks. Voila. This is not going to be the tassel to live on this particular journal. I'm going to make one out of shades of navies and mints and blues to match the fabric she did here. But just so you can see the general idea of how the earring clips onto something, I think it looks so cool. I definitely prefer jewelry to office supplies, right? So I think a clip-on earring looks more lovely than a binder clip or a paper clip or the more generic things that you see tassels hang from most of the time. But yeah, there she is, the tassel hanging from a bauble. Let me know what you think of the style. I'm definitely going to make some more using my other earrings, but I think you get the idea. We don't need this video to be too long today. But yeah, if you make any tassels and hang them from jewelry, I would love to see how they turn out and what kind of jewelry pieces you have in your stash for your crafting. So please do tag me on Instagram if you choose to make one of these. My Instagram handle is @_theartofgems_. And I mean, you could also just comment on the video with a link to where you post it. However you want to do, I'm very curious. So yeah, try it out. Let me know how it goes. And I'll see you tomorrow with our next crafty gift idea. So much love, happy crafting, and bye for now.